Games Workshop have just had their first preview show of the year, giving us some great new reveals for Warhammer 40,000 and for Age of Sigmar. In this video, I want to talk about the Corsairs, specifically the Eldar Corsairs, because we were given two different flavours of pirates for the Maelstrom. First up is Prince Uriel. He's holding his legendary Spear of Twilight, and the thing that stands out most to me is he's got banners. Now, I've been wanting to talk about banners for quite some time because I really miss banners on the models. Does anyone else remember when Space Marine captains and lieutenants all had banners sticking up out of their backpacks? Orcs used to have banners. Just about every single model, if it was an important model, a leader model, had banners. I think that they should make a well-deserved return. But back to Prince Uriel. He's definitely had a glow up from his previous model, and I like that he's still recognisable as what he was. They've not completely changed him. They've just modernised him, which seems to be a theme of what Games Workshop is doing recently. They're modernising and updating sculpts to the modern age rather than completely changing them. He still has this great pose where he's kind of got this on-armed shield generator. Or at least that's what I like to picture it as, that he's deflecting blows with his shield coming out of that emitter that's coming off of his arm. He's also still got that bionic eye. I can't remember what it's called. It does have a name, and I think in game they mentioned it might even have a weapons profile. Maybe it shoots lasers or something. I can't really remember off the top of my head. But he's looking regal whilst also looking like a pirate, like a Reaver, like an Eldar, which is great because it means he'll stand out, but he doesn't stand out for looking too gaudy compared to all of the other models that are available in the range. Now, you know me, I love a helmeted option for my models. I'm not great at painting skin unless it's orc skin, so I prefer to have my models wearing a helmet. And he has got a really cool looking helmet option that you can pick to go on him. It does look a little bit dark eldery to me. That's just my opinion. I don't know if anyone else is going to agree, but I think that kind of suits the fact that he is also a Corsair, he is also a pirate. We then move on to the first unit of Eldar Corsairs, the Sky Reavers. These definitely follow on from the Forge World version of the Eldar Corsairs that were brought out many years ago. These are winged guardians in some ways, that's how I always look at them. And the Forge World versions were actually an upgrade kit for the Plastic Guardian pack, so it makes sense that they're going to look like Guardians with wings. I do think that these are great models. I would have liked to have seen some of the wings in kind of a downward position as well, rather than all of them just sticking up. And maybe some of the models standing on the ground. That would have added some variety to it, in my opinion. But I love the Forge World version, and so it's obvious that I love this version as well. We also have another character in the Eldar Corsair force, which I can butcher the name of, Karsef. Karsef, being a Void Dreamer, means that he's especially attuned to the shifting eddies of the warp, and he can guide their fleets through areas of the Imperium that would not be able to be done by other seers. The model itself, very cool looking model, as are most of the Eldar seers. I do think the mask looks a little bit like a gas mask. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but that is what it looks like to me. It looks like a gas mask compared to a lot of the other helmets that the Eldar have. But overall, I think it's a fantastic model. It's quite dramatic, it's quite dynamic, and it certainly has a really cool pose. I love how the paint job has the kind of tealy bluey colour that the Eldar Corsairs are known for, but then the red against it is incredibly striking. The bulk of an Eldar Corsair army is made up of the Void Scarred, which are an existing model range that we already have. So much like the other units, these look a little bit like Guardians, but they've got that little extra piratey Corsair aspect to them. And they have a helmet on their leader that is a bit like the helmet for the Dark Eldar that we have on Uriel as well. And most importantly, a back banner. I won't talk too much about these as They've been around for a while and they just look absolutely fantastic. There's not really much more to say. We also get a vehicle, the Starfang. From the front, I really like this. I think it looks pretty cool, but I was wondering when they were showing it off why on earth it looks like it has a gun that's pointing backwards. And then you realise that there's another cockpit that faces to the rear. I'm not a huge fan of this, and I feel that it's done partly because this is a dual kit. So it's a dual kit along with the Viper. So this is the upgraded Viper as well as the Starfang. And although they say it makes two completely different models, it looks to me as though all they've done is they've taken the little gun cockpit of the Viper, turned it round and sat it in the gap that exists. So I don't have much to say on the Viper because the Viper looks pretty much the same as it did before. I was a big fan of the previous Viper, and this one, I don't think it's as good. I don't know why. I don't feel it's as good as the original Viper. And as for the Starfang, I think it looks really cool, but I'm not a fan of that rear facing cockpit. I would rather have had that solid and it just be a one person little kind of attack craft. Someone did ask on the stream about could they be able to have both models in one, and they kind of said you might be able to do it but not really. I think you could. If you magnetize the stand part that holds up the canopy, the second canopy, then the gun module, then you could possibly then remove that stand and turn it round and just slide it into the bottom part of it, and then you'd have the Starfang, and then you'd put the stand back in and turn the gun cockpit around, and you've got the Viper. So I actually don't think it will be that difficult if you wanted to magnetize it and use it as both variants. Of course, all the new models are coming in a battle force. These are called the Eldritch Raiders Battle Force. Basically comes with one of all of the new models so that you've got everything you need. So if you wanted to grab one of everything that's new for the Eldar Corsairs, then this is the box set for you. My final thoughts on the Eldar Corsairs is I really like them. I'm just not 100% sure that Games Workshop is going to continue to support them. This is probably going to be these models only, and you won't really see anything else in the future. Also, I'm not 100% sure why you would take the Eldar Corsairs over taking, say, Swooping Hawks and all the other aspect warriors that you have. They may do the job better, but perhaps the rules will be better, or the points values will enable you to take more of these rather than taking aspect warriors. But let me know what you think about the Eldar Corsairs. Do you like the models? Will you be collecting an army of them? And do you think Games Workshop will continue to support them going forwards?